Welcome to LOKAYAN IAS Academy's YouTube channel. In our effort to give you insights on essay, we started this mini lecture series called as Essay Essentials. So this mini playlist comprises of 10 videos. If you find them interesting, please go to LOKAYAN IAS Academy's YouTube channel to check out rest of the videos. So today we are going to talk about the sixth video, the seventh. Today we are going to talk about the seventh lecture. It is the fourth concerning the body of an essay. This essay will focus on three distinct ways to use knowledge matrix. Let's get started. So this is one of the frameworks in which you can use the knowledge matrix. Okay, so this is thesis, antithesis and synthesis. Okay, so some of you might be knowing what these words actually mean. Some of you might not be knowing. And I guess a few of you must be knowing how to apply it to the essays framework as well. Let's take a look one by one. So thesis is basically your argument in favor. Okay. So when we talk about thesis, we'll be talking about whatever the topic of the essay is, we will be agreeing with the topic. Okay, let's say there's a topic called poverty anywhere is a threat to prosperity everywhere. So in the thesis part of it, we will be talking a lot more about how this concept is particularly true. Okay, we'll be talking about how this sort of thing happens. How is it a threat to a different sort of this thing. Okay. Similarly, let's say we're talking about in the philosophical essays, we come across an essay called as customary morality cannot be a guide to modern life, or even a simpler one, simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. So in the thesis part, basically when we write, we will write about this aspect. How exactly is simplicity the ultimate sophistication? Why is it the ultimate sophistication? How is it the ultimate sophistication? Basically on that list where we are agreeing with the topic with various different examples. So once you start to agree with the topic, you can again use knowledge matrix to find out various dimensions in which the argument that is given, that is the topic of the essay, is true. Okay. So this is how you write a thesis. Now what exactly is antithesis? So antithesis, as the name suggests, is the opposite of it. It is the exact opposite of thesis, where we try to counter the topic. Okay, where we try and say ki when it comes to simplicity as the ultimate sophistication, where simplicity is not the ultimate sophistication. It might have been true at a particular age. Okay, so we may give counter examples like today's world is a complex world. Okay, the diseases and everything that are popping up are very complex. Okay, coronavirus is a classic example. If we did not have modern machinery, if we did not have complex computational tools, we would not have been able to analyze the genes and everything. Okay, we would not have been able to recover from a global pandemic so soon. Okay, because 100 years, 200 years back, we have the examples of Spanish flu, bubonic plague and everything. Okay, how it took so many lives. But today, it is not the simplicity. Okay, it is the complex nature of the advanced tools that has helped us survive. So this is the antithesis of the topic, where we are saying that it is not always true. Simplicity is not always the most sophisticated. Okay, so we need complexities. We cannot all go back to Stone Age. Okay, because that was the simplest times. So this is how we'll try and counter it. So this is an antithesis for the topic. Now synthesis is basically clubbing the goods of two. Let's say we're talking about a problem. Yes, the problem exists, but that is not always true. Or simplicity is not the ultimate sophistication. It is, in a lot of cases, there are certain cases in which it is not the ultimate sophistication. So synthesis will be somewhere as a combination of both. Yeah, we need simplicity, but not to an extreme case. Okay, we need limited simplicity. We need simplicity when it comes to material gains. We don't need simplicity in everything. Okay, where the concepts are intangible. Let's say knowledge, education, information. So we can have some complex model. We can have more complicated things. You need not always be simple. But when it comes to material needs, it is always better to live a simple life, because it is going to have bad consequences. So on this lines will be your synthesis. Okay. So this is a combination. So now यहाँ पे there is one thing that you'll have to keep in mind. The antithesis part is something that a lot of students won't be writing. So this is where you can get an edge. Okay, competitive advantage basically. Okay, over most of the students. Okay, because antithesis not all of the students end up writing. Okay. Most of them don't even know about it. So this is where you can get that edge. But there is a huge caveat. Okay, when you write antithesis, you also have to ask yourself very frank questions. Okay, is the antithesis really relevant? Okay, when it comes to philosophical topics, you can left, right, center, you can write any antithesis. Okay, it doesn't matter. Okay, because values are that flexible. You can prioritize some values over the other, and there will always be a case. But when it comes to essays, let's say like poverty is threat to prosperity. This basically means that poverty is bad. So यहाँ पे इसका antithesis won't be that poverty is good. You cannot say that poverty is not a threat to prosperity and it is okay if there is some sort of poverty. Iska antithesis may be on the lines that we cannot absolutely remove poverty. Because as we remove poverty, there will be new sorts of poverties that will emerge. That does not mean that we should stop our efforts to remove poverty. Today we are talking about educational poverty, digital poverty, on those lines. So these are new poverties which were non-existent before. So poverty ka concept itself has increased. Now let's say if you, so the classic example, right? Classic economic example, where you give, let's say, 1 lakh rupees to all the poor in the country. Will that solve poverty? No, it won't. There will still be a lot of poor because inflation will rise and all of those factors. But that we need not discuss here. Okay, but this is how you will build your antithesis. Okay, yes, poverty is a threat. Okay, so its antithesis to prosperity will be like, when the nation starts to become more and more prosperous, there will be some sort of inequality, some sort of poverty that will still be existent. So we are not exactly giving a counter to the topic, but we are trying to add new elements to it. So that is the antithesis here. Okay, so understand this difference. This is a classic type. Let's say we are talking about the diverse nature of India's society and the democracy that there is a remedy to failure. ऐसा अगर कोई topic आता है तो वहाँ पे we will not agree with the topic. We will straight away give a counter saying कि democracy is the life and soul of diversity. Democracy only can say diversity can only thrive under democracy. Under any other form of government, it is bound to fail. So that is how you will not write synthesis in such an essay. So you will not write a thesis in such an essay. You will only focus on antithesis. You will counter the topic. You will always say that democracy is good. So the theme here is that when it comes to such evils like, is caste system good, is the constitution bad, is democracy hindering our way to progress. So these are called as the trap topics basically. They are laid down to trap you. Make sure that you do not fall in them. Okay, so let's move on to the next framework. Life cycle approach. So So life cycle approach is somewhere in middle of sectoral approach and timeline approach. ठीक है, so this one approach basically traces life cycle of subject. So there are two specific cases where you can apply this. Let's say when you're talking about women's issues and education. These are two very specific cases where you can apply this sort of. So women's issues we can talk about, say, you know, women facing issues before they were born. Before they are born, they face issues like what you can say, feticide. There's what you can say, gender discrimination at that stage, early identification of gender, and selective abortion. We have all studied about male meta preferences. On those lines, once they are born, there's nutritional inequality. In adolescence, there's dual burden. Once they step out, there's glass ceiling, gender wage gap. Skill, what you can say, skill development is also thoda sa biased. So that form, basically you will trace the problems that are faced by women throughout their life cycles. Similarly, you can talk about education. Education mein your subject will be a child. Let's say preschool में अगर कुछ problems है, primary education, secondary education, tertiary education, skill development, higher education. So all of these have problems. You would apply knowledge matrix to them in a sectoral approach also. So this is just a different method to put the same problems. Because even if there is an education essay, you are bound to write about teacher training, skill education. So maybe this subject faces all of this at different stages of his life. So basically you will trace a lifetime of one person. So this is, if you know the recent one, Bharat as well, and the second one was Lal Singh Chadda, imitation of what you can say, a remake of famous English film. So these are basically how you trace the history of a nation with with a lifetime of one single subject. So this is something of that lines. Very different. It's not one-to-one equality, but it is just to give you an idea of how you can imagine the timeline approach. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Causes, impacts, and solutions. So this is a very common method. So instead of in sectoral, this sectoral method, so first in sectoral method, you will try and apply knowledge matrix to identify specific causes. Poverty का example है. So what are the causes of poverty? Is there educational cause, economic causes, agri में कुछ cause है poverty का, social कुछ causes है, we have caste system and everything that's playing a role. Regional biases है, you can give an example of Odisha. Northeastern belts, hilly regions, they are more likely to be poor. So geographical reasons वगैरह है, regional reasons है, geographic reasons है. So these are causes. So its impact, so we have discussed while discussing knowledge matrix how it impacts. So similarly, solution में also you can apply knowledge matrix and give a multi-sectoral solution. So these are the three distinct ways in which you can apply knowledge matrix. Okay, so that is it for this video, guys. So if you have any doubts, please leave them in comment section. We'll try and answer each and every one of them. At the same time, if you like the content, please hit the like button. Do not forget to hit the subscribe button in order to get notification about more content, more relevant content from LOKAYAN IAS Academy. Thank you.